What's going on, guys? It's Jared Kelnick here. It's an early, brisk morning in Wisconsin. I just purchased a farm out here, and something I'm kind of getting into is the land management side of things. So I flew in the man, the myth, the legend, Bobby Kendall, and his partner, Toby Stay. We're gonna do a video today. We're gonna walk my entire farm, and it should be a pretty educational day. We're gonna go around, and they're gonna kind of teach me along with my friend Bob, and really gonna turn this 232 acre farm into a whitetail heaven. So they're on their way over here now, and we're just fixing up some breakfast for them, and we'll create a game plan and we'll go to work.
All right, we're up here in Wisconsin with Jared Kelnick and this guy Toby. What was it, like 2 Novembers ago? Jared was texting me about buying a farm maybe and this and that. We talked back and forth. I said, just let me know when ready or whatever. And we were talking about the Jersey farm. He's like, I'm looking for like a 150 or something. And I'm like, dude, I have the farm. It still was the farm. I should have bought it back for myself. But anyway.
I didn't listen to you. I bought a different farm.
Yeah.
Bought a farm in Wisconsin, so here we are.
Yeah.
Hopefully these guys can give me a little guidance here. They seem to got all the answers. They're pretty good at what they do, so looking forward to having them out here.
I'd definitely take this out of food, and I'd put this into switch / bedding, just to get your food away from your neighbors, and your access isn't quite as far in. And then design something in those fields over there.
Even another one though on the backside of that you couldn't see from up there.
Now, do they bed like crazy in the pine trees?
Yeah, especially I'm guessing once we start getting hit with like a foot or so of snow, they're gonna be underneath there. But I remember during gun season when I came up and I hunted back at this field in the corner, and there was like 10 does that got up in these pines. Oh, regular time, boy. That whole side, like during the rut, the rubs, dude, like every tree.
Is that like really thick?
Yeah, it's thick and it goes down pretty quick. But they run that whole side.
Which is nice because, like, one of the things that I was looking at, all the big woods, you got to get up here and come through cover. But you're lucky it already lays out that main trail up here we drove up is all open timber. And this stuff is thick. What looks from an aerial like, it's kind of tough to access that. It's not really that bad. And I'd definitely take a chunk out of here, bow hunting gap, and do one type of food source in this field and a different type in that one. And right in that gap, you have a tree koi, water hole, all that goodies right here. Really? Yeah, it'd be good. We'll go look at it here in a second. So you said there's lots of deer that bed up through here?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they run this like crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you do away with that food down there and you put that into grasses to take that plate off the table, it also becomes more cover and stuff. But this whole thing is like south facing. So it's all where they want to bed. I saw beds just flying through here on the bike. I could see beds all in here. It's so steep, you don't have to do a whole lot, but all those, you just do TSI. So like those big basswoods, you just, you can, there's all kinds of methods to let more sunlight in here. All these little trees hinge cut, all the dead ash and stuff, and just make a puff of light in here so this south facing hillside gets thick. And there's even more bedding in here, and then you got this, and it all kind of tapers down and meets up with that switch.
You're talking about this edge here, right? Like this This pine thicket meets the hardwoods. There's this little shelf before it drops off. Just a natural travel corridor here between two types of cover and two types of terrain. And that becomes very evident when you're looking at all of these big rubs up in here from year after year is scarred over. And you can see them all the way down through this edge. Dead giveaways. These bucks are using this edge to scent check the bedding thicket and getting rambunctious when they're smelling those does in there. They're raking trees and they're just working this whole thicket all the way down this top edge. So this is already a really good spot, but Bobby's kind of tweaking it to be even better by thinning some of these trees out, letting some light in here, and giving it another phase of edge. So you got pine thicket, new growth, regeneration, and then into the hardwood timber. So just this spot's going to become even better than it already is.
I kind of like that maple with all that back cover.
Right.
And just bring a little more crap up in the tree.
Right.
For back cover. But I'm thinking you take the first row of these suckers out, cut them down, and use them to build a wall.
The first, like these?
Just the first row.
Really?
Just to gather some. Because this hedgerow here, I mean, you really don't want them bedding out in it anyway. But you want the hedgerow to make a visual break between fields, you know what I mean? So that they have to go looking.
Yeah.
But you could either do it with that or you could do it with a woven wire fence. Just a little section, just to pinch them.
So would you have your opening over here, or like right in here?
I think somewhere. I think I'd almost have the blind like up where the ranger is, and then take out this bow hunting section and use each of these trees to line them down from that corner up here. And that's gonna pinch.
Laying them this way?
Yep, just laying on that side.
And
it's gonna pinch them. And then where that blind is, you'll be able to see both fields. And what he can do is he can come in here on his bike from over there and he can fly up through his food and get in the blind and then leave that way and go out. So you cut out of here and I'd block this way. So when you come up here to get in this blind with your bike, if they're laying down through here, they can't see you.
So when you say cut them down, would you cut them down right at the base?
Yeah, like a Christmas tree.
Okay.
Just lay it like.
Use it as a wall.
We can start selling them then.
Yeah. Kellenics. Yeah. Kellenics.
The Christmas tree farm. The deer that come through there, it is crazy. Dude, you'll be sitting there, like, it'll be pitch black. And like in the morning, before it's light, you'll hear deer. You'll hear them chomping on apples before you even see them. And it's like, there's 2 over here chomping on apples. There's 4 over here. It's crazy. It's like a cafeteria up there. I sat here though, like one morning, I'm telling you, like the amount of deer that come through here, I sat here like first week in November and saw like 19, 20 different bucks one morning, and I think I saw like 20 does. I saw like 40 deer, and I sat till like noon.
Yeah, the power of this water is amazing. It's like we were on one of our Iowa farms the other day with Lee and talking about water and how we're using it, and he said it's amazing to watch those deer that they come out into the plot, those bucks especially, they come out into the plot and they walk through 2 different kinds of food sources without even putting their head down, and they go right to the water.
Yeah.
First thing.
Yeah.
And he says he's been taking it and putting it way out in the open, you know, out there where they have to come out and start headed out there in daylight, you know, and it's like amazing to watch. So like this is a destination water hole, even though you got other water around. It's amazing how when you put them in a food plot area, or like up here in this where there's apple trees and food and stuff, like it is a.
This is the first year that I've used like water holes and like, you know, a water source, and I would almost argue that a water hole is almost more effective than a food plot.
They got to drink, right?
Heck yeah.
They can eat everywhere.
Exactly.
But they got to drink.
There's only one kind of water.
A preferred water hole. I mean, that's just a death trap for them.
Every little bit you move it to the left, you're getting your wind further and further out of that thicket. And if you get it close enough here, you're right at the head of your access trail. Clear all the underbrush and only leave the apple trees, and then plant like probably like a brassica field or something, because then it'll be different than what's over there. Stuff it behind that apple tree right there.
Yeah.
and push it down that way so that all these deer coming out of that bedding area into this food source
Come up this side.
they squeeze right here, and you don't even need a tree koi here because there's going to be huge scrape under that apple tree because of all the scent that's going to come through here. And then when you do your water tank, move the water tank up right here. I would put another blind on the far end of the field.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to move one of those anyway.
Yeah, but I'd have another one at the far end just for a south or late season.
Yeah.
You know, fruit trees are a whole different deal. I mean, it's like science.
We don't get many of them, so like.
I can tell you where to
Some.
put them. Shoot a deer.
Yeah,
But
dude, there's a lot on this
charge-
farm.
Manage them and stuff. That's for the next guy.
Interesting farm. Got some things that you can work with and enhance that we don't usually see in Illinois, like this really unique apple orchard kind of place up here that we're going to blend together with a green plot is going to be a pretty aesthetically pleasing spot, as well as a kill hole for any buck that comes through here.
Yeah. It's obvious that right here in the middle of the woods in this circle, there's a cluster of rubs, like a bunch of them. And it's usually ground zero for where a big one was living in October, when he's essentially like, this is his primary bedding area. And this makes sense because he's looking out over everything. He's right next to the apples. He's got crop out there. But going into the deer season, end of September and October, when they're rubbing and they're really territorial and stuff, what he's doing is he's getting up here and he's not wanting to leave his bedroom yet, but he's feeling frisky. So he's just tearing trees up right here in his bedding area. So if that deer didn't get killed and you go into next deer season and you have a big one on camera, this is where I'd be looking for him.
And that proximity, that plot we were just in, is like the perfect proximity to from bedding to food, because a mature deer, when he gets up, you know, he doesn't usually make it to where you're hunting in daylight. So the closer you can put those two together, the better odds of him getting out of his bed and ending up in front of you in shooting light.
Yeah.
And this is about the perfect distance.
He always tells landowners, they ask him what the best thing they can do for property value, resale value, and he says your trail cam inventory and history. And he'll tell people, go out and buy the highest quality camera like a Reconyx that you can, and put it on the, you know, on the same stake as your tact cam or whatever, and just put it on video mode or move it to scrapes, you know, but put it on video mode and let it rock all season. And then just save all that footage of the videos of those big deer and the scrapes and stuff, because that's what that's, you know, a lot of your resale power is in your history, your trail cam history.
Right in here, huh?
I think it's a cool little rut deal coming off that food. You know, it's a good morning spot and it's also a good rut spot. There's gonna be so many deer around here because of the food. Cool morning spot coming off the food with good access, and rut spot right up in that basswood where that branch goes off to the right. And take your skid steer blade or whatever and just punch right through there to the trail that's already in there. Right. So there's a path of least resistance, but this gives you a south wind rut set on the downwind side of all that cover. They're gonna want to use their nose to check it. You're gonna have tons of deer. You're gonna have deer coming in and out of that field, leaving it in the morning. And just make that path of least resistance right through there to connect with the bucket or whatever, and they'll come off of that field like a freight train probably coming through here, don't you think? Yeah.
This ridge here, we don't touch. So a lot of deer activities up there too.
Yeah, I like that this is way up here. You know, I'd maybe cut that tree down so you got a better lane, but I like that this is way off the road.
So there's an apple tree right there, and I always saw so many deer that would they'd come down from here, and they walk straight up and then take it right up there. But a ton of bucks would stop at that apple tree and make scrapes, so I put a camera over it and got some pretty gnarly photos.
You know, you could have a blind right in there, a scent-free blind, hunting that gap somewhere near where that tree is, but it's one of them deals where you'd have to kind of slip in there in the dark and really want to hunt it for a lot of the day. I mean,
It's kind of like that ditch, that ditch that goes through there.
Mhm.
You're talking about clearing up and walking through it.
I think some of this will come together when we see more of it, but I kind of like the idea of leaving the core of your farm like unhunted, because it's harder to leaving this core for them for the year, bow hunting these fringes, and then once you've tagged out with the bow or whatever, because it's going to be a game changer. I mean, you're going to be able to whack and stack up there, dude.
That's what I like to hear. That's why you're here.
And so then,
from right here, like when you're standing back there and you're looking, right in here is where this field kind of humps and it rounds the bend. And if you switch grass from here that way, you're not losing a lot of field. But what that does is that this tall is going to screen this field from the road. So if people driving can't see these deer and stop and mess with them in binoculars or worse. What I do is this entire field, I would alfalfa, because this is a field that a farmer will be able to get in here and bale. It'll be beautiful from your house. You'll be able to glass this thing and just watch crazy deer out there all year. And then that side, we could do standing and make a green to grain pinch. And I think if you wanted to get really wild, you could build a pond right there.
so we banged that out pretty quick. I was happy. I was a little worried of some of the egress with the way that, going through the woods and the way some of this area is like stadiums or whatever, but everything kind of worked out well because those egress roads are there and it's more open woods than where a lot of the deer are bedding. So you're years ahead of what I thought might have to be part of the plan, but everything lays out really good. I think you've got a really good plan. Pretty awesome.
Heck yeah. Got a lot of work ahead of us.
Us.
He said us again. The us is sitting on the couch over there behind us. There he is, us. Us construction.
We use the us word sometimes too.
And I think this is my first Wisconsin farm that I've really been on and really looked at. And I was talking to Justin, who sells property up here, and he said this is an above average place as it sits, and attach this plan to it on top of that. I mean, this is going to be extraordinary.
I think one of the pieces I'm really looking forward to was up in that orchard area right here where you're talking about putting that just like a golf course out there. Yep. Making it look like the Masters,
Oh yeah, it's gonna be the Masters. It's gonna be the Masters of.
Put a flag right
there. I won't even say it. The Masters of apple trees.
I was so excited and interested to see how they were gonna dissect my farm. Obviously, I've only had it for a few months now, and so to have like a little bit of background from hunting it for a few weeks this season, I was super interested to see what they were gonna say because they haven't really been up in this area of the state, and I was really interested to hear what they had to say. It was fun.
Even the way that the deer move naturally and stuff, a lot of it is back down to the principles of like ingress, egress, dominant winds, thermals. Those are all, what you're given. So a lot of times you reverse engineer it to where you redirect them to do what you want them to do. So you have the upper hand. Like this was a classic example right out behind that's just awesome. And the fact that you'll be able to see that from the house, oh man. So yeah, a lot of came together. It's gonna be awesome.
I think that was the part that blew me away the most was just the ideas that they had when they were able to. I think that was what I was, I wanted to bring them out, give them a tour of the place so that they can get an idea of kind of what they were working with. And then once you kind of saw their minds spinning, they would come up with an idea that I was like, man, I didn't even know that existed. That was pretty cool just to be a part of.